brand new week. Hello, and thanks for joining the first edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, McAfee warns against money bag hijack of PDP presidential primaries. Kano state government accuses Kwankwaso of inflicting 350 billion naira debt burden on the states. Ajimobi vows to rebuild Ayefele's radio station, set up committee, and later on the show, Chief of Air Staff urges U.S. to deliver to Kano jets bombers in good time as Air Force continues pounding of bandits in Zamfara. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Ismail Omekbidon, and Chris Kende Wandu. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Hunter, thanks for joining us once more. The heat of the battle for presidential tickets is rising covertly or overtly among gladiators and parties eyeing the presidency in 2019. But it is becoming a tale of two different worries for the two major political parties in the country. While the all-ruling All Progressive Congress, that's APC, seems to have settled for the incumbent Muhammadu Buhari as its presidential flag bearer, such cannot be said of the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, which is still shopping for one. A chieftain of the PDP and presidential hopeful, Ahmed McAfee, is, however, wary of bad shopping in the black markets for his party. McAfee warned the party leadership against letting money bags hijack the PDP presidential primaries. But who tames the money bags? Looking at the order, like, okay, Jide is listening already. Anytime I always get excited. Anytime I see, when you are talking the likes of C. Ronaldo, Messi, heavyweights. Because before we came to the studio, we were talking about APC, that, President Buhari is like APC. APC is President Buhari, as in, is like the only heavyweight, so to say, politically, that can actually move things in the next 5-6 months. But when you see the likes of Bukola Saraki, the likes of Rabi Kwakwanso, the likes of the governor of Gombe State, Sule Lamido, and you begin to see, and the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Yeah. Babajide, McAfee comes across as somebody that's, humble, influential, nice CV, gentle, but it doesn't come across as somebody that will use money to be able to get his delegates. He might not be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the likes of Atiku Abubakar.
No, whether McAfee likes it or not, these guys are going to spend money.
Good money.
They're going to spend good money, and till today, when you look at all the aspirants, there's no one who has Atiku's war chest. No one.
Kai.
There's no one amongst them who has Atiku's war chest. Atiku is experienced at this kind of game. And if not for the last-minute efforts of Bola Tinubu and a few other people, at the convention ground.
Stadium.
2014.
Yes. Atiku will have won the primaries. Because like 48 hours to the convention, Atiku had secured substantial support of delegates. You know that at some point even during that convention, it was his jet that they were using to bring in delegates from distant northwest states like Kebbi and the rest of them.
Even hotels, major hotels were fully booked in Lagos.
He had gone far with those delegates. He engaged many of them one-to-one, on a one-to-one basis, just the same way he did in previous elections. But he had to contend with the might of the central government, because when Obasanjo said, look, this is the person that I'm supporting, it became clear that, that the central government would do whatever it would take to make sure that their own candidate wins. When he had to face Goodluck Jonathan, it was the same federal might, federal might in inverted commas, that he had to contend against. So if you are distributing $10,000 to each delegate, because many of those delegates returned from the PDP convention
Very rich.
to build filling stations and other investment. So if you are distributing 10, Atiku would do as much as 8. He will try his best until his best will clearly not be good enough. So someone like, because whether we like it or not, this convention will cost money. That's why from the beginning, the moment these people began to defect into the PDP, McCarthy has been warning that the PDP must not allow defectors to steal, that the PDP members should not allow defectors to steal their party. He's worried about the war chest that these guys have, and that's why he's been talking about it. So when he says that people will vote for him, even if he doesn't bring money, it's a lie from the pit of hell. People will vote for him based largely on what he's able to offer them beyond his track record. We all know he's untainted, he's done well in his political career.
Gentleman.
He's one of the stars of the PDP. He's one of the good people in the PDP. I always say that it is wrong when people assume that there is no good person in the PDP. There are some people in the PDP better than the people in the APC. And McCarthy stands out as one of such people. That any day you can hold him high, that this guy he has tremendous pedigree. But this is a different kettle of fish. McCarthy will become strong at the convention if someone like Wike lives up to his promise of supporting him. Because if he wants to support him, then he's going to bring the funds to make that happen. Without that, let him not think that, oh, because he was successful as governor in Kaduna, people will take that. For the delegates, this is boom time. Another opportunity will come maybe in 4 years. For some of them, they may not even be delegates anymore. So they will take this chance. And you look at them, you look at Saraki, he has war chest.
Has money.
You look at Dan Kwambo, he has war chest. In fact, after, in my own reckoning, once you take Atiku, you are looking at Dan Kwambo because he has been preparing for so long and he's a sitting governor. He has been preparing for so long, and he's a sitting governor. So you have people like that. You have Kwankwa Sotu, who has been preparing for at least 5 years. So these guys know what it is. They know that this is going to cost them money, and they've been preparing. And then Saraki has wanted to be president of Nigeria since 2011. So it's not just today that Saraki made up his mind, you know. And when Saraki wants something, whatever it takes, he gives it. Some of the people in the Senate today, Saraki financed their election into the Senate. This I know. That's why it's difficult for some of them to look him face to face and say they are going to vote against him. When push comes to shove, and the matter of impeachment or whatever is put on the table, some of those people that he financed their election into the Senate because he had been planning this for a long time, those people will support him. So people, money bag politicians, they are in the PDP. A-list politicians. And you cannot tell them that, look at an Atiku sees this as his last chance.
Honestly.
You can't tell him not to spend his last kobo to get it.
Because, Sikian, I wanted to ask you that look, a lot of this, APC actually zoned the presidency to the north. PDP too follows suit. So a lot of these guys, like somebody like Atiku is 72, 73. 70. And, people like Bukola Saka, people like Kokonso, they know that this, like, if they don't clinch this, power might be coming back to South in 2023. And this is like a very, very crucial test for the People's Democratic Party. But McCarthy, is it possible for PDP to play it cool without money?
Just as Jide rightly said, Ours is probably one of the most expensive democracy in the world. Ours is probably one of, if not the most expensive in the world.
Or the most monetized.
that's or nairatized in the world.
You have no money, you are nobody.
You cannot play Nigerian politics without money. Even McAfee himself knows.
He knows.
When he became governor, he played the politics of money. To become ordinary, that was the day we were analyzing here, Jide. To become an ordinary councillor.
You spend money.
You spend money. To become a chairman. In fact, somebody was telling me yesterday that to contest as chairman in certain state, when he mentioned the amount that one spends, I say, is that so? Then House of Reps, House of Assembly.
People from the only difference, tickets.
Ayo, the only difference between you and I and Jide is, and them, is because of the money. You and I can conveniently become the governor of your state.
Sure.
We have the pedigree.
But we don't have money.
We don't have the money. That is the truth. Jide doesn't have the money.
You are sounding aggrieved.
I am very aggrieved. It's the truth. The so-called youngest governor, what does the man know about governance than CKN?
Yes. He doesn't know anything.
He doesn't know anything. I would have wanted to be a member of House of Assembly representing Obo local government in Imo State. In the Imo State House of Assembly. I want to go to the House of Reps representing Okigwe. I want to go to the Senate. But my brother, the problem is that I don't have the money. I don't even have a chest, talk less of the war. So, McAfee knows that. And definitely, as we know, this is the time for politicians to make their money, especially delegates. You know why? After these guys get there, they forget them.
Yes.
That is what happens. Even the so-called thugs, this is time for them to make their money. When they arm them, they give them money. After they get there, to see your house, you see your they don't even come home. They don't come to the constituencies any longer. So for McAfee, he knows that this is going to be a very difficult one. And that is the issue we're having on hand. So let him go and prepare his own godfather money.
It's looking like a make or mar situation for the People's Democratic Party. Star-studded. But I know for sure that I have Adamu Garuba from the APC that want to contest against Mr. President. I have this YCK Ajuluchuku, but MCK... No, not MCK Ajuluchuku. Ogbunaya, something. Okay. But anyway, you know, wanted to contest with Mr. President. But as we said earlier, that it might be a tough call to see anybody winning the tickets ahead of Mr. President within the APC. But for PDP, and everything will happen September or latest by October. First week of October, you know, according to the INEC timetable. So we are in for interesting time. Yeah. But for the People's Democratic Party, a lot of people are saying that would this party not implode with these heavyweights if at the end of the day they are not able to manage it very well for the primaries?
Well, I think every Nigerian is expressing, you know, that fear, especially considering the caliber of persons, you know, showing interest in the race. But I believe very well that PDP, they have always managed situations like this in the past, even though at that point they were the ones in power. Now that they are not in power, you know, let's see how they are going to, you know, manage. But having said that, I listened to McAfee the first time he was analyzing this issue of money bags and money involving in primaries. The point he was trying to make was that when people believe in you, that these people can put money together to support, to support you as president. Okay. Because he reeled out several presidents, including Obasanjo, like he said at that interaction in Oshogbo. He said, look, when Obasanjo came out of prison, how much did he have? That if it were by money, he ought not probably to have won the primaries. But he won the primaries, not necessarily because he has money, but because people believe in him, and probably put the money.
People didn't believe in him. The
And now,
military,
he
the outgoing
also-
military
he
regime. I
also-
think we have to make that. The outgoing
he also-
military regime settled for him.
He also brought in the
And
issue.
so-
They look at it as a
He also brought
Not
in the
that
issue
people
of
believe in him. If
Buhari.
people believe in him,
you know?
the Southwest, where he came from, would not have
He
rejected
also
him.
spoke about the issue of Buhari, that even though he is not part of their, he's not a member of their party, but that he didn't win the primaries because he has money.
But other people spent money for
That's
him.
the point he is saying. That's the point
Other
McCarthy
people,
is saying.
no.
No,
The
that's
money
point
back-
That's
see,
the point McCarthy is saying.
it's not the-
No, I was there.
Hold on.
I
now.
was at the function
truth
where he
is,
really
the
had those
people,
things.
he is saying those things, but Buhari's own supporters had not matched these other people.
ones.
That was why I was mentioning Tinubu and others.
That's the point.
That's
Somebody
what we would have
asked him that he
wanted.
doesn't have the money, and he said he does not necessarily need to have the money, but that when people believe in his cause, that these people can pull resources together.
Does he have the
Which we have not
backers?
seen.
Does he have the backers that can
That can
confront
forward with
the
money?
likes of Atiku?
Yes.
Well, he didn't tell us that,
Maybe.
Okay.
but maybe he does.
Okay.
But the danger with that kind of argument is that at the end of the day, people can be misled into believing that money was not spent to put.
No.
You cannot-
There's no
you can't
way.
say that.
There's no
Even
way.
in
you
the
will-
CPC,
No, even in the APC, even in the
we
APC
had-
primaries, money was spent. There's
That's
no-
the point that I'm
yeah,
making.
so-
Even in the CPC days, we had people like Mohamed Abacha spending money.
Of course.
Funding the party.
We had people like Adamu Damarke spending money. So it is already part of our politics.
Ayo, do you know the danger?
Who are they for
No, let me
anybody
tell you.
to say
Let
that?
me-
Look,
let me tell you.
ordinary NUJ election.
Yeah.
I have participated in NUJ
Yeah.
election. Ordinary NUJ election, we spend money.
What of even this
NBA election?
They said they were giving people
You
money to
understand?
vote.
We spend money.
NBA.
Yes.
Lawyers.
Yes, they were giving people, they were buying
Who
votes.
are they for
Ayo, do you know
anybody to say that money will not
let
be
us look at, let me even tell
did
you,
you get here?
let me tell you the issue of Buhari has even demystified that issue of people backing. People are skeptical now, backing people, because most of the people that back the president, current president, with the belief that it was going to be
That they will be giving them contract.
workers and the rest of them. When the man came in, the first thing he said? I am for nobody. I am from everybody.
Many of them
Now,
are still patiently still waiting for
but
the
most of them are still they are waiting patiently.
Because to go to PDP is to be out of power.
That is it. But the fact is that most of them, if we have a replay today, you'll be shocked that so many of those that brought out their money in 2015 to back the president won't do that again.
Okay, as we
They've
leave,
not received
They've not
anything.
received any.
Jude, as we leave this topic,
Yes.
can you make any prediction
About who
to
win?
clinch the tickets within the PDP? Tough call. Okay, I give you
Stop. You know why?
Okay.
You know these things sometimes. We don't know who the governors will back. If the governors back someone strongly, that person will
person
clinch
will make
it doesn't matter what the other delegates are saying, because these governors are in charge of the delegates.
They control the delegates.
You know, so that is the thing. The weak case of this world, they have a say in who clinches the thing. It may still be McCarthy at the end of the day. It may even be Tanemu.
Yes, Turaki.
Turaki that
Turaki,
many
SAN.
people, many of the supporters of Jonathan and people who serve in that same government, they are rooting for him. So it's
Silently,
going to be
they are
a
rooting for
very
Turaki.
interesting race. That's why I said that if the APC convention and PDP were to be held the same day, I'll be monitoring what's going on in the PDP.
That's what happened in 2014.
That's
That's what happened in 2014 in Abuja and Lagos. As the match already. Ayo is calling me from Lagos. Thank you, namesake. From London, Ayo is calling from London.
Yes, good
Thank you for joining us, Ayo.
Thank you very much.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, just quickly, I appreciate what you are doing, but I'm just thinking that is it possible for you to use your platform to change the narrative, the discussion about Nigerian politics, especially by de-emphasizing these people who have the money? There are young candidates out there that you can, because what you do with television, newspaper, and media outlets is that you can influence the voters, through your discussion. And if you choose to discuss things like that, that might be emphasize this money politics, this by bringing out people who don't have the money, don't have the will, have the power, have the qualities, I'm just suggesting we can.
Thank you, Ayo. Thank you for your contribution.
I think we are not emphasizing money politics. We are
We're just analyzing the people that are on the ground.
We are analyzing the reality. We are not supporting it.
Nobody is supporting it. The reality of
What is the reality on ground?
We don't like it. We've condemned it in the past.
All right, still to come. Kano state government accuses Kwakwaso of inflicting 350 billion naira burden on the state. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this time out. Thank you for joining us. It's Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria. Smoke is usually triggered by fire, but more often it is the smoke that we see first. Thick smoke had in the recent past enveloped the political scene in Kano State. We have seen in that northwest state two Eastern political allies becoming foes and sworn enemies. Not many, however, know that what triggered the feud between Governor Abdullahi Ganduje and his predecessor, that is Rabiu Kwakwaso. The state government blew the already raging fire more when it said it is still battling to clear the 350 billion naira debt profile left behind by the former governor, that is Senator Rabiu Musa Kwakwaso. Government, through its information commissioner, Mohammed Garba, described the huge debt as embarrassing, a big embarrassment to the Kano state government. In this, is this the roots of the embarrassing political situation in Kano? Babajide, what's up? 350 billion naira. What's the big deal?
Well, the fight has begun. Once the fight begins, then you start hearing this kind of complaints. You had Udom Emmanuel too. Were saying that Akpabio blew more than 100 billion on an hotel, trying to explain why
there's no lights in that hotel.
Trying to explain why they did not continue with the project. You see, the governor of Kano State was the deputy to Kwankwaso. When he was asked why he was continuing Kwankwaso's project, he said that it was part of the conception of those projects. Because as a two-time works commissioner in Kano, he knows the whole of Kano. He has the whole of Kano on his head. He had served 2 administrations before then as works commissioner. You know, so he knows Kano. So those projects were not conceived without his knowledge. And that was why he came without a desire to start his own projects, but to try to complete those projects. Because Kwankwaso left projects uncompleted, bridges uncompleted, roads uncompleted, contractors not paid, like the Ritamasule University. Contractors left site until the governor mobilized them and gave them money to go back. You know, so the governor is saying this now because there is a deep animosity between them. And the Kwankwaso people too are abusing the governor at every opportunity. So the things that he couldn't have said in 2016, things that were hurting him, because the debts, especially the most embarrassing is this scholarship scheme, whereby they send students abroad. Some of those schools wrote to the Kano state government to say that they were being owed and that those students will be sent back home. It's embarrassing. Government had to go and look for money. Because if we do not now make money available for them to complete their course of study, then the government will be blamed. So these were pains that Ganduje stomached at the beginning, and he did not complain to anyone. I had known since 2015 that this debt was there. And I was wondering, a state with little in the recent, when compared to Lagos and Rivers, a state without a huge IGR, how are you going to pay this kind of debt? It's easy for us to say some governors are reckless, they can't pay salaries, but we need to ask ourselves what happened. What did the governors, what did they inherit? It's just like the problem in Benue now, where a state as poor as Benue has the 3rd highest salary bill in the country after Lagos and Rivers.
Imagine.
And that's what that governor inherited. And people are wondering why he finds it difficult to pay salaries. He's only able to pay from the beginning of this year. Last year, he couldn't pay. So these are the things. I do not blame him for saying that now. But it is still politics because he didn't say that in 2015 after he took over. He was trying to just keep the pain to himself. So this is the way people will see what is going on. And when you see part of the statement, even accused him of looting the state dry. I don't know whether there is proof of this looting. Because if there is proof of this looting...
Tried in any court of law.
Yeah, if there is proof of the looting, they should provide EFCC with the proof so that Kwankwaso can be put on trial. So I don't think it should just end in a statement or this form. And then the governor also used the opportunity to talk about his own achievement, the roundabouts that he too is building, Wanshekara, Dangi, and the rest of them that he's building. So it's a way of demarketing the enemy and then trying to promote yourself.
CKN, most of these projects, you just find them as, white elephant projects. Because when you say your predecessor coming to your office, we know those projects that they conceived and they can't finish, but sometimes they will even take loan, and in the next 15 years, you can't exhaust that loan. Okay, just take a look. Somebody that's going to take over the government in Ekiti State. When I saw the debt profile of Ekiti State, when I saw, what they are owing workers and anybody that is taking over that state is in trouble.
Yeah. First and foremost, we used to put it in the right perspective. First and foremost, is Governor Ganduje telling us that he doesn't know of this profile before he agrees to become governor of Kano State? It's a fact. It's a fact. Once you inherit a house, you inherit both liability and the assets. That is why you have been elected to change the narrative. You were there as a deputy governor, just as Jide rightly said, for 8 years. You were commissioner of works for how many years? In fact, most of these things you are talking of projects were under your own purview as the commissioner of works. So are you just realizing now that you have a debt profile of 300?
He was not commissioner of works on that.
Deputy governor. Now, come to think of it, this is not the first time they are shouting. If you remember a few weeks ago, they said the man had over $1 million. Either in Ukraine or one of these countries. I don't know whether you remember vividly. I'm sure you remember that. Yes. They came out to say the man had $1 million in a Ukraine account. And you didn't go to EFCC to report. He has not been invited.
Maybe the EFCC has not picked the right time. But I'm aware that some people did petitions against him that the EFCC has not acted upon.
Now what we are saying now is they can only see. Are you not saying this because he had decamped to PDP? If Kwankwaso had remained in APC, we used to make this statement. So
I think when they were in APC, they were
just so what I'm saying, what we are saying is that we should try to separate politics from realities. There's time to play politics. What I should expect the governor to be doing now is to be presenting what he has done in the past 3 years.
There should not be like APC.
There should not be
Jonathan government.
I should not be blaming the man. That's my personal opinion.
All right, Ismail, what do you make of this situation?
Well, as I was coming, I was going through the statement Ganduje made on May 31st, 2015. Barely 3-4 days after taking over. It said that Kwankwaso had not committed any crime for leaving a debt of about 300 billion behind. And that he tried to rationalize the huge debt by saying that whatever happened was planned, coordinated, and executed with him. That was his statement. However, the truth is, the crisis between Kwankwaso and Ganduje started early enough because as at August 2015, Ganduje has started expressing reservation over the way Kwankwaso handled the scholarship scheme. Yes. Because I recall that in that year, it was at the Executive Council meeting where he condemned, the handling of that scholarship. So from that EXCO meeting, those who were loyal to Kwankwaso, leaked all that, transpired, and Kwankwaso's men also fired back. That was when the state government threatened that, look, if he doesn't keep quiet, they will expose more of the things he did. It is true that if not for the crisis between them, But the fact remains that there are certain things that Kwankwaso actually did in Kano that one will be, expressing concern over why money was sunk into such, gigantic projects, because some of his housing estates were built in areas that it would be very, very difficult for even the civil servant to pay to
we don't have much time
to assess things like that.
Jide, on a final note, it's going to be a tough battle in Kano State, both for the presidential election and the governorship election. Yeah. We still don't know who the People's Democratic Party is going to field. But the influence of Kwankwaso, Shekarau, and Ganduje cannot in any way be undermined. And we know that they are going to lock on, and I know Kwankwaso and Shekarau, they are working together, at least for now. So it might be a tough one for Governor Abdullahi Ganduje.
No, one thing he has going for him is the Buhari support. Buhari has tremendous faith in him. He has played that politics very well. And he said it from the beginning that, look, I supported Kwankwaso during the convention, presidential convention in Lagos. Now that Buhari has become president, I cannot retain my support for him. So he has explained why he decided to ditch this man. So as long as he has Buhari support, chances are that he will retain his seat. But he knows that he has to work very, very hard, because Kwankwaso does not forgive, and Kwankwaso is a wounded lion at this stage. So whatever it takes, if I can tell you that his biggest ambition, his biggest project is to remove Ganduje. It's not to become president. It's not to even become president. It's that Kano to remove. And he has said it publicly that there is no forgiveness, there is no reconciliation.
But he's all God.
So that is the thing.
Okay. All right. Frictions among the three arms of government are common occurrence in our polity. But when such frictions build to the fourth estate of the realm, then there will be cause for panic. Last week, demolition of Fresh FM Ibadan by Oyo State government over alleged breaches of physical planning laws elicited uproar and widespread condemnation. But the state governor, Governor Abiola Ajimobi, and ace musician Yinka Ayefele, owner of the radio station, have reached a truce. Speaking in a function in Ibadan on Sunday, Governor Ajimobi promised to rebuild the demolished building. Gentlemen, Ismail, can you make sense of this?
Well,
can you make sense of this?
As I was coming, I was discussing with Ezekiel that if he knew he was going to rebuild the place, why did he demolish it in the first instance? And you see, I wish he was going to use his personal money to rebuild the place. But he's going to use state fund. Now he's rebuilding it. Does it mean that the musicals no longer contravene the law? Or how? Because he has to explain. You see, there are
was this not just all about ego?
I think it's about ego. And if you know this man very well,
just politics.
The way he's been speaking, like somebody who is a village headmaster. I'm sorry to use that word. But he believes that he knows it all.
Constituted authority.
Whatever you whatever you call that, you see. But you see, the truth is, if he really wants to show remorse, he should not use taxpayer. In fact, I am challenging the citizens of Oyo State to ensure that Ajimobi does not use taxpayers' money.
How can they do that?
No, they have to engage. They have to engage him, because if you know that you were going to rebuild, why did you demolish? Though what he's telling us is that demolition was out of malice. That demolition was out of malice, because if it wasn't
perceived arrogance on the part of
Ayefele.
If Ayefele had reached out and personally visited the governor, maybe this would not have happened. So this one is happening. This rapprochement is happening now after he visited the governor, and some of his people were photographed even prostrating. So people will say, "Oh, after they prostrated for constituted authority, he did not forgive." He did not forgive. Maybe that's why he said, okay, since they have shown their Omoluabi, let me try to...
It is also, there was a story I read, that Ogun State governor was also offering.
No, I think he has a branch already.
He has a branch
before
already.
this saga.
What I'm
they've
also
already
suspecting is that
It's
Ajimobi
politics.
is also afraid that politicians may capitalize.
No, he mentioned that.
capitalized.
Of course. That day it was like a political rally.
I remember that.
Capitalizing.
Remember that I was one of the first.
Yes, I
journalists.
remember. Yeah.
I was one of the first journalists that got to that building on the day it was done. In fact, by 6:30 a.m. I was already in Ibadan. And yes, and I was in the building. I was with Ayefele, one-on-one. I saw him. I saw the wife. I saw David Ajiboye. And what happened that day was unbelievable. You need to see the reaction of people. And that is part of what is happening. And that is where our polity is going.
Yes.
Where people are now getting very much aware and ready to take. What I saw that day was just a bit of what we saw during the Abiola crisis period. People were ready to lay their... in fact, from what I got, those demolition and this thing ran away when they saw the people. When they saw people, yes, the crowd. Really, yes. I was, yes. It was overwhelming. You saw the video. Sorry for disappointing you in those shots. You know, but they were everywhere, irrespective of political party, whether you are APC, whether you're PDP, whether you're whatever. The solidarity was too much.
Yes.
And from what I heard, that station is one of the most listened in Ibadan.
Yes.
Okay, so for that, I believe that it was a terrible PR for the governor and the Oyo State government.
Yes.
So it was a very terrible, irrespective of what. And the problem there is that it is a mass medium. You are a government. People always see government as oppressors. Now you are now dealing with a mass communication outfit. So it was terrible. I'm happy that the governor had been able to. But let me tell you, it was all about politics. It has nothing to do with because from what I heard from Grapevine, which I'm not going to be disclosing as a journalist, is that there were some people who the government felt that station was supporting. Okay? They feel that station was anti-government. And there have been instances where the governor go out and meet some other people and you get some kind of praises and I don't want to go into the politics of your state. But what I'm saying is Ayefele was so sober, he was shedding tears, and there was nothing there. In fact, at the point when we were climbing, we were asked not to climb because what they did was, it wasn't the total building. What they did was from the front, all the pillars that held those buildings were destroyed. They were destroyed. So there's no way that building can really stand on its own. So even if they're doing anything, there are a lot of... So, but I am happy that it was at the Olubada's 90th birthday yesterday, David. I'm happy that the governor has, but let him not try that again. It's a very terrible.
We are very close to election. I even saw the governor and Rashid Adewale Ladoja, former governor, smiling, all smiling. So,
it's common to see politicians who don't like one another, greet each other familiarly.
It's for the cameras. It's for the cameras.
Jide, now, what's the backlash, the public outcry after the demolition of this building? I think it affected Ajimobi, and maybe people would have told him that, man, even on the social media, what happened to him, people did not just want to hear about the state environmental laws or what happened or who is in court. For that demolition, I felt like got a lot of sympathy. And it might be counterproductive against APC.
Let me tell you, when Oshomole tried to sanitize the civil service in those states, there were blind people who were employed as teachers in those states. Oshomole came, got them to write tests. Some of their pupils passed, their teachers failed, and he decided I was going to send them packing. But we were approaching an election year. What did we see? Oshomole, the people that he had sacked, he had to quickly bring them back. Remember, even Fashola, as stubborn as he is, Fashola increased LASU fees, made LASU fees very high. You ask yourself, is this really a public institution? But what happened? After they lost the election in Ekiti, and people were saying, oh, he's going to make us lose in Lagos, so it's because he's in his second term, he has nothing to lose. Fashola quickly came back. LASU students asked for 50,000 as school fees. Fashola gave them 25. and that was it. What he had boasted in the past that we will not reduce this fees. I remember Mr. Oguleye at an event telling him that, look, I want you to finish strongly. Reduce these fees. He said, we will not reduce the fees, and I'm sure that our party will back us all the way. When the party lost in Ekiti, Fashola came, head humble pie, reduced the fees lower than even what the system was. So the thing is, whether we like it or not, Ayefele was wrong. He breached the laws. We talked about how he breached the laws. But you see, when it comes to politics, some people don't really listen to all of those things. They just send Ayefele as an underdog who has been treated unfairly, and the sympathy, even from APC supporters, die-hard APC supporters, a lot of them were very angry that why did they do this? In an election year, why should someone do this? And the governor, who is a very smart politician, called for a meeting. They came. He showed the pictures of those people, all of them prostrating for him. Those guys were not expecting their pictures to be taken, but their pictures were taken. This is election year. So people saw, he has come to beg. So the governor has now said, yes, I am going to rebuild that place. Not because he's a disabled person, but because he has realized that he was wrong. So at the end of the day, the enemy, the political enemies will not be able to use it against the governor.
In fact, I'm sure that they set up the committee and they start building the place very fast.
In my view, if you said the building was causing accidents, that vehicles were knocking people down, the best thing to do is to rebuild it entirely, or take Ayefele away from that place.
I said relocate to another place.
So, but if you rebuild
accidents within 9 months, 3
if you
accidents,
rebuild and you restore the same problem that used to be there, you restore what you took out, then you have done a disservice.
That's the point I'm making.
Okay, moving on now. In war, when you record a victory, you must sustain the tempo against the enemy or be ready for deadly backlash. The Nigerian Air Force has in recent times made some gains in the war against insurgency and armed banditry in some parts of the country. Now, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, wants total victory in the onslaught against insurgency. At a parley with some U.S. weapon manufacturers in Abuja, the Air Force Chief appealed to the American government to facilitate the delivery of a 2829 Super Tucano jets to Nigeria in good time. According to Abubakar, this will enhance capacity of the Air Force to effectively end the counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast. Ismail.
Well,
I think there's a delivery time, there's a time lag for this thing.
Yes, I think from the agreement I read, I don't know if it has changed. I think the delivery time was 2020.
That's wow.
So because when I saw the Chief of Air Staff making this, so I tried to check. Is it that they promised to deliver some now and others later? Because this thing was the order was placed in February this year. You understand? And it was clear that delivery time is 2020, and we are just in 2018. I think the Chief of Air Staff should just brace up and continue to manage what they have to fight this, and not
that famous one Jide used to talk about A26. They should continue to use it.
Although the Tucano, if you look at the features of the Tucano, it will really help and aid the total, because it can operate both in the day and in the night, and it has features that will help the vibe. But the truth is that the Chief of Air Staff should not use that as an alibi for whatever inefficiency that we may begin to face in our fight against it. I think they should continue to use what they have.
Focused.
Yeah, be focused. Because this thing is not like Nigeria. In Nigeria, you can place order for something to be delivered next year and come back and say, look, I want this thing now.
Okay,
this is Jaguar.
And they make it available to you because the delivery date is 2020.
Alpha Jets. The other one was the F7, the supersonic jet.
Okay. Yes.
I think, first and foremost, we need to commend the military so far, especially the Air Force and even the Army. I think it's only the Navy that has not been fully involved because of the nature of their they don't know nature of their operations. But the Army and the Air Force, in recent weeks, we've recorded so much successes, especially the Air Force. We have effectively used those fighter jets to demolish and neutralize these guys. And this is what we ought to have done when the crisis started. Although there were some hiccups, don't forget that we had some hitches, we had some problem. The US refused to sell to us for some reasons. Those that went to South Africa to also buy off the shelf were also
also in the open
market. They collected their money and the rest of them. But thank God the US was able to reason with us, not only because the problem we are having, they also know that it's a threat to the sub-region of Africa. Because if the issue of Boko Haram was not checked, it has already spread. It's in Cameroon, it's in Chad, it's moving to Niger. Before you know it, the whole of West African region would have been taken over. So, but the Chief of Army Staff should know that they've already given us a date. It's going to be Chief of Air Staff, sorry. That is going to be 2020. So I think we should be able to wait. Let them use what they have presently, and
maybe the Chief of Air Staff is so enthusiastic because the CNC on Saturday or on Friday actually gave them that they should deal with these people ruthlessly. So in that enthusiasm that we're good to go and we just need this equipment and everything. What do you make of the call by Sadiq Abubakar?
Yeah, you know, when I met him in last year, he told me, even before the deal was eventually signed, that even when it is signed, it can't be delivered before 2020. But he actually wants to see whether they can do their best to reduce the time frame. But as you know, these equipment are not bought on the shelf. When you place an order, they will now go and manufacture. And they have to do it in a perfect manner. Because once you are airborne, you are on your own. Anything can happen. So, and if they don't do it well, they can actually, they can lead to the withdrawal of everyone that they have manufactured. Just as we've had with Toyota and you know, so they know that they have to take their time. Even the deal, the Apache deal that India signed with Pentagon, it took 4 years to deliver.
4?
Yes.
The Apache helicopter?
Yes, Apache. It took 4 years because they will not only manufacture the airplane, they will manufacture its munitions. Or the rockets that it will use. As we see now, when the Kano lands in Nigeria, it will come with thousands of missiles, thousands of rockets that they will use. And spares. And they will train our own people who will fly and be maintaining them. So all of these things add to the time. So when you buy, we are spending about $593 million to buy this. It comes, part of the cost is maintenance, spares, and the rest. So these things take time. But I can understand this enthusiasm. This is clearly, in my view, in all my years of monitoring the military, reporting the military, this is the best Chief of Air Staff that I've seen. And I've interviewed some of them, like Issa Doko and the rest. I've interviewed Air Force chiefs because his own is full of ideas. And one thing that would be terrible is for this thing to be delivered after he has left the scene. He will not be happy with himself. You understand? And if we had been on this thing for so long, the moment he got there, he had been pushing. Thank God for Donald Trump and this senator that died. McCain, because McCain was one of the senators who pleaded that, look, this is the time for us to help Nigeria. Let's put the Leahy law aside and help Nigeria. And when you look at, this is an aircraft that can land on unpaved airfields, which means that it doesn't have to, you find maybe an airport or an Air Force base.
Rough.
It can land on bare ground. once it is hard enough, you can land on it. It can also provide go on reconnaissance missions. So it is like like 3 aircraft in one. If you have an aircraft that you can use to spy on the enemy, and it can also deliver its weapons on the enemy, and it has night fighting capability, and it can reach heights of 35,000 feet. It's a fantastic war machine. So, well, as we said, since we cannot get them to deliver this thing quickly, the Mi-35 that is dealing with killer headsmen in Benue at this time, let's continue to rely on it. The Mi-35 is serving justice to bandits in Zamfara. We have pleaded here that they should send the military to Zamfara. Finally, they've done that, and it is dealing justice to those animals. So let us continue to encourage them to use what they have. When the Kano comes, we will continue. Hopefully by that time, Boko Haram will have become history. The bandits in Zamfara, they are gradually becoming history, because when was the last time you heard that in Zamfara they attacked a village?
On the last note, Ismail, the president actually came out to charge the military.
Speaking, that charge,
when I listened to the president,
what most Nigerians have been waiting for. That charge of go deal, that was the charge. And it was the absence of that charge that made some Nigerians to be accusing, making insinuations, that avoidable insinuations. So I want to commend Mr. President for once, giving out that charge, because
decisive.
It's a decisive that he said deal ruthlessly. Underline that one. You understand? And I want to believe that if such a command had come earlier than now, I'm sure by now,
because they suddenly discovered that they could use the airport in Katsina as a launching pad to hit those guys. If we had come up with this strategy earlier, honestly, those bandits would have been dead.
It's a fact. These are the kind of things we've been saying for long, that the president should take charge. He's not just the president of Nigeria, he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. That is, President, severally it has been said that Nigerian president is one of the most powerful in the world. Not even the president of America. There are certain things that our president can do and get away that the president of America cannot do.
He will be resisted.
He will be resisted immediately.
Look at his immigration.
They say, my friend, sit down there. You cannot do it. That kind of. Yes, so he has the power. Our president, the president of Nigeria, is a very powerful man. And we believe that as a military, more so as a military man, a former military general, he knows where this is. So that directive to the various service chiefs was a very clear one, and it's good enough that they are following to the latter.
Finally, Jide?
Yes, we are happy that we appealed that the people of Zamfara should be helped. We continue to make that noise here. To some people, they didn't like it because it looked like we were exposing the government. But at the end of the day, we have pushed the government to do the right thing. The government has done the right thing, and our soldiers are dealing a decisive blow to the bandits in Zamfara. Today, people are returning to their homes in Zamfara, which is what we want. We don't live with them, but we can't be happy with people being killed in Zamfara because they are Nigerians like us, and they are not inferior to the rest of us. So now it's a good thing that we are having peace gradually return to Zamfara. Hopefully, that peace will also return to Borno State and Benue and other places. Benue, yes. Good news from Benue because Mi-35 is
serving
justice for them, and we are doing very well.
Thank you, Ismail Omikidon. Siki, and thank you for today's outing. I'm Babajide Kolade Otoji, the messenger. Thank you, and that's it on Journalist Hangout. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Usubakun. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.